Tokyo is so fun. It is the most fun city in the world, and it's not even close. I spent 2 months there and I found 8 insanely fun things to do that you have to try on your trip to Tokyo. If you can find a way to fit all of these things into your itinerary, I promise that you will have a great trip. And while I do truly love the cherry blossoms, the museums, and the culture, that's not what this video is about. This video is here to simply show you how to have the most badass Tokyo trip of your entire life. Fighting robots. I'll say that again. Fighting robots. I mean, come on. Why I wanted to start here is because you're getting like 100 fun experiences all packed into one location. Tokyo Tower is one of the most iconic places that Tokyo has to offer. You see it on every postcard and in every anime. Most Tokyo itineraries will have you going up to the top of the tower at some point during your trip to see a beautiful view overlooking the city. And yeah, you should do that. But what most people don't know is that there is a whole world within the tower itself, with shopping, souvenirs, and restaurants. But most importantly, there is a virtual reality arcade called simply Red Tokyo Tower. This place is the definition of fun. There are racing games, these sort of interactive sporting type games, horror experiences, and so much more. I even got the chance to enjoy a real life fake money poker game with my friends Ian and Jimena. And I lost all my fake money because I'm reckless. On the weekday that we went, it was not crowded at all, so we got to try a bunch of different activities here. But undoubtedly, the number one reason that you go to Red Tokyo Tower is to put on a robo-suit and punch the shit out of your friends. We created our own little tournament bracket, and Ian and Jimena faced off. And Ian came out the winner. And because for whatever reason I had a bye in the first round, that meant that he and I would be facing off in the championship round. I'm here in the red suit, Ian is in the blue. Before you start, they actually let each player choose a power-up that you can use to benefit yourself during the match. I chose super strong punches, which, as you can see, was the right decision, because with a few well-placed left jabs, I came out the winner. This is definitely worth doing. Make sure that you stop in for at least a couple of hours while you're at Tokyo Tower. Now, if you've watched a few of my videos, you'll know that usually I'm a lover, not a fighter. So you would think that robot fighting would be the only fighting that I would be doing in Tokyo. But, no, that was not the case. This next super fun activity had me fighting actual human beings in actual real life. I love that sumo wrestling is on this list because it is both really fun and also a cultural experience. Myself, Ian, and Jimena made reservations at a place called Yokozuna Tonkatsu, and they gave us a super enjoyable experience that's one of my favorite memories from Japan. It all starts with a meal that is actually typically eaten by the sumo wrestlers and is actually prepared for you by the wrestlers themselves. It's basically a katsu, some rice, and then this soup with these mushrooms in it that makes you really healthy and strong and powerful, I guess. We got to learn all about sumo, you know, what the rules are, how it's done, but the real fun begins after the explanation is over. Because if you'd like, you can actually line up to challenge the sumo wrestlers for yourself. And your goal is basically just to try and push the sumo wrestler out of the ring. It's really hard. These guys are heavy. I love this. It's great for culture, it's great for sports, it's great if you're into watching scantily clad men push each other around in a circle. If any of that sounds good to you, I'm gonna put the booking link for this exact experience down in the description below. But enough about fighting. This next thing is going to scratch the itch in your brain in all the right ways. Or at the very least, it scratched mine. I don't care how smart you are, as human beings, we simply like shiny, beautiful things. We do. It's our nature. teamLab is a company that is growing, and they're putting installations in cities all over the world. But it began right here in Tokyo, and it's become an absolute institution. Also, it's just fun as hell. In Tokyo, there are 2 of these right now, teamLab Planets and teamLab Borderless. I chose teamLab Borderless, mostly because of these iconic and beautiful balls of light. Look at this and tell me you are not mesmerized. just imagine what it's like to be there in real life. Because of Teamlabs, I now understand why bugs are drawn to bug zappers. At Borderless, you'll walk from display to display to display in this wide open and, borderless experience. There are sort of special rooms that you can enter that have the more impressive exhibits, including this one that utilizes light against mist, and this one that has these long strips of LED lights that work in tandem with mirrors on the floor and the walls to create a really beautiful and mesmerizing maze experience. You can actually even sit down at their cafe and order some ice cream and tea, which of course also has a light sequence attached. Every time you set down your drink, a whole garden begins to grow out of it. Suffice it to say that I was sipping this very, very slowly. I wanted it to last. I skipped visiting Teamlabs on my very first trip to Tokyo because, to be honest, I thought it looked a little gimmicky. But I will say that if you're like me and you were on the fence, that you should do it. It's the real deal. It is beautiful. It has incredible design and artistry, and it's a ton of fun through all the interactivity. For me, it's worth the price of admission. But next on the list, there is no price of admission, mostly because it's a whole neighborhood. If you're into anime or video games, you might have heard of Akihabara. It's a famous neighborhood in Tokyo known for having anime shops, maid cafes, and crane games. Now, all of that is cool, but I'm here to talk about the crane games, because in Japan, they're actually good. The prizes inside are really high quality and in some cases are 100% exclusive, meaning that the only way that you can get it is by winning this crane game. If you decide to do this and you want to play, this is my suggestion. Right along the main strip of Akihabara, many of the crane games are 200 yen per play. However, if you step off that main strip and go to some of the shops that are a little bit off this primary pathway, you can find games that are only 100 yen per play. That's going to give you twice as many chances to win. You're welcome. It was in one of these crane box things that I found it, the true desire of my heart. A prize that immediately became a need, not a want. It was this Smoliv plush. Now, Smoliv is a Pokemon from the newest generation. I admit, we are a long way from Pikachu and Charmander here, so I totally understand if you don't know who this is. But I did know, and I fell in love immediately. So I started to put in some coins, and I lost, and I lost, and I lost again. I went home defeated, but vowing to return. A few weeks later, I was finally back in the neighborhood, and after some drinks with Ian and Jimena, it was time to try again. This time, I didn't care about anything else. I literally put my phone away and went totally zen mode. And not only did I win Smoliv, but I also won this Ditto plush as well. Jimena also won a Clodsire plush that evening. So yeah, it was a big night for us at the Claws. As silly as this all may seem, believe me when I tell you, winning a claw machine will send the biggest rush of dopamine through your system. I mean, especially if you've been trying to win for a while, like I was. I'm not saying that it will cure your depression, but I am saying that you will treasure this thing forever. I mean, I do. Look, I even have him here with me right now. I mean, just look at this face. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him! This one will be short because I have yet to actually try it for myself. But if I had an international driver's license, I would. And if you're willing to get one for yourself, you have the chance to dress up as Nintendo characters and partake in real-life Mario Kart through the streets of Tokyo. Yeah, it sounds insanely fun. Here's a video I found of it online. You'll notice that they're technically off-brand characters because this company was actually sued by Nintendo, which I find hilarious, but it seems really fun nonetheless. And while I didn't do this in Tokyo, I did do something sort of similar with my friend Ethan in San Francisco. We rode around in this tiny yellow go-kart thing all over the city. That was a blast, and it's one of the most fun things I've ever done. So I can only imagine what it's like to wear a whole Mario-esque costume and drive go-karts around the streets of Tokyo. It is actually officially driving on actual streets, so that's why the international driver's license is required. But supposedly, they're not too hard to get at your local AAA. There is a booking link for you down below, and if you do book it, please come back and let me know how it is. But if you do this, make sure that you do it before going to this next place, because there is alcohol involved. A lot of it. Now, I'm not one of those people who feels that alcohol on its own makes for a fun time. However, if you are someone who drinks, or even if you're not, going to Golden Gai in Shinjuku is a must. It's this series of little back alleyways filled with hole-in-the-wall izakayas. Most of them genuinely can only fit a few people inside, which is why they will often have a cover charge, but not all of them do. We went to a couple different bars, including Blue Rose, which had sort of a rock and roll theme, and then also this sort of nameless bar, in which the bartender always carries around this stuffed cat. The cat's name is Spaceship, and I became friends with him quickly. I mean, honestly, how could you not? Just look at that face. Bars and nightlife and that sort of thing aren't really for everyone, but this feels like a special experience and is really unique and fun. We ended up meeting and talking with all sorts of amazing people from Australia, Korea, Ireland, and more. They were very drunk. And if you're, into that sort of thing, at Golden Gai, you can be too. Okay, so we're back to fighting. Well, not exactly. This is the restaurant that served as the inspiration for the mega fight scene in Kill Bill. So yeah, it's fighting adjacent, I would say. The food and drinks here are really good. We ended up ordering a collection of starters, plus some lemon drops. So it was some chicken tempura, some udon noodles, some vegetables, and more. It's pretty touristy, I'll admit. But if you are a fan of Kill Bill or of Quentin Tarantino, I think you'll have a lot of fun with this. Whenever somebody has a birthday, they bang this huge gong. It's a whole event. The gong is just, it's a big part of the experience. Gong situation aside, this was super fun, and they have great food, so definitely try to make a reservation if you can. And while we're talking about food, it's not exactly fun, but I do have 2 other restaurants that you should write down, because I think you might really enjoy them on your trip to Tokyo. First is Gyukatsu in Harajuku. We actually ended up eating there twice because the katsu is incredible. It's basically pieces of coated beef that you cook over a candlelight fire for yourself. Afterwards, you can dip it in egg or curry or soy sauce or wasabi or whatever you want. Absolutely incredible food here. This was one of the best things that I ate all year long. Secondly, be sure that you grab some omurice from Kanda Tamagoken in Akihabara. You're gonna be over in that area winning crane games anyway, so be sure to grab yourself a dish. It's basically an omelet filled with rice, and then you can also get some sauce or meat involved. I went with the classic, which had this sort of red sauce similar to ketchup on one side and a beef patty on the other. This is iconic. I mean, if you're into anime at all, I promise that you've seen characters eating this at some point, and now you can try it for yourself. My 8th and final recommendation is a global classic for family fun. An absolute icon, no matter where you come from. It's Disney. That's right, if you didn't know, Tokyo has 2 Disney parks. The classic Disneyland and the one-of-a-kind experience called Disney Sea. Now, I do specifically recommend visiting one of these parks, but I am a little wishy-washy on whether you should visit the other. In fact, I made a whole video talking about it. Click on the screen now to watch my video about Tokyo Disney. I'm certain that it will help you decide whether you should visit one park, both parks, or neither.